Viewers, and welcome to KDRTV. It's a happy Mother's Day, and today in the studio we are celebrating Mother's Day, and I have my friend Kanya in studio with me. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Roslyn Omweri, and in the studio today we are going to be continuing with our discussion about matters affecting us here in the US. We as immigrants, we have a lot of issues that are affecting us, and we had started this topic earlier, and today is just a continuation. So on this happy Mother's Day, we are going to continue talking about some of these matters that are affecting us, and today we are talking about stress. So welcome to this topic of stress. I know everyone feels stressed. Do you ever feel stressed?
Oh yes.
Yes.
We all feel stressed every once in a while.
Yes, once in our lifetime, once we feel stressed. So stress is part of our life. So we are going to talk about this topic today, and we are going to define what stress is. We are going to see the causes of this stress, some of the symptoms, and how do we handle this stress. How is this stress affecting us? As you know, it has affected so many of us here in the US, and some of us don't know how to deal with it.
That's true.
Yeah. So it's part of our life, but we need to know what it is. So in the beginning, we just want to know what is stress. So I'd be able to define this stress. It's like part of our normal living. It could be a strain, an emotional strain that is affecting us, and it's natural and normal. But when it affects us day after day and becomes part of our living, it signals a bad symptom. It signals something wrong. So we need to know how to handle it. In small doses, we could get this stress. It's fine. It could help us grow. It could motivate us. There are some incidents whereby when people are in stress, for example, when you're studying for an exam and you have to meet the deadline and you're working with that time limit, you get stressed up. But in such incidents, it helps you work harder and faster and get motivated, and helps you deal with this stress and get to your exam and do well. So that's one good thing about stress. But if this stress is our day-to-day thing, in big doses and affecting our emotion and affecting us, making our daily life living hard, then it's not good. And that's why we are talking about this stress. So I just want to ask you, how have you handled stress in your life? Have you been affected with stress in your life?
Yes, I have been affected with stress in my life a lot. But initially, you don't know how to handle stress, but as you move on, you realize the way you combat stress is not the right way. And I realized that stress, you don't have to react to anything. Instead of reacting, you try and respond.
Yes.
Because when we react to stress, it's a negative force towards whatever is pushing us down, and that one cannot solve the problem. But when we respond, we sit down and think about a solution, and we respond to stress, it lessens the grip that it has on us, and it doesn't make us get sick, or it doesn't give us any more anxiety, because we have resolved it.
Yes.
That is how I've come to realize, it is better to respond to stress than to react to it.
Yes.
Yes.
So the way we react or respond to stress matters
Yes.
a lot.
Yes.
And it gives us an end result that would not be good if we react in a bad way or if we respond in a bad way.
That's correct.
Yes. So in some of the instances that I have had or seen, if you take few minutes in a stressful situation, just few seconds to pause and think
Mm-hmm.
before you respond, that's the best way to go. It will help your thinking, it will help the way you are reacting to this stress. So the outcome will be different.
Yes.
Other than when you get so stressful and come up in a reaction or make decisions immediately, it would be the right thing. So we need to pause, take a break and think before we react.
That's correct.
So that would be the best way to respond to stress.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've all experienced stress and we handle it in different ways.
That's true.
But the way we respond to it will really matter on how it will affect us.
Yes.
So now we've known and seen how stress is affecting us. We need to just pick up and identify some of the symptoms. Because most of our viewers might not be knowing that they're going through stress. What could be some of the few symptoms that you can pick up that you have experienced, that we could say that these are signs and symptoms of stress?
For me, personally, for me, and what I've read and what I've experienced, most of the symptoms is like you don't pay attention to anything, like your mind is not always focused when you're doing something.
Yeah.
Like you don't complete any task. You start something, you leave it in the middle, and then you go start another thing. And another one is like you have aches, like you feel your shoulders is very painful, your neck. Then you start asking yourself, did I sleep maybe the pillow? But no,
Yeah.
that is tension
Yeah.
from not being able to process the information or emotionally correctly. The body responds that way to some people. They feel sick, they feel pain, they feel like they're sick, and they don't even know that it is stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then another one is that we lose appetite.
Yeah.
We either lose the appetite or gain the appetite. It really depends on the person. Some people don't eat, others eat more than necessary. So
Yeah, and on the appetite part, you find people gaining weight
yes,
and some people lose weight. And you won't realize this is stress. On the body aches you've talked about, stress gives us these physical symptoms that we feel. You can feel the body aches, the headaches. Some people get the cramps, digestive system
yes.
issues.
Mhm.
So with these physical symptoms that are manifesting as you get stressed, when you seek treatment, some of these symptoms are hard to be treated
Yes,
because they don't have a cause, a physical cause. It's the stress that is causing it. So you don't need to treat the symptom. You need to take care of the stress.
yes,
Unless the stress is treated, then the physical symptoms will keep on manifesting.
yes.
We have things like anxiety. You see people so anxious when they're so stressed.
Mhm.
We have, you talked about it, not concentrating well.
Yeah.
And in that you get people with poor judgment.
Poor judgment. Yes.
And they end up making poor decisions. And I would take an example with the relationship problems in marriages where people would get stressed up and instead of responding the way we say take a pause, they act fast and end up with the poor judgment of making up a faster decision, not remembering that they have kids involved and other issues to deal with before they make this judgment. So you have people coming up with such symptoms of poor judgment. We could have people getting depressed. We talked about depression in our last topic.
Yes.
Stress could be a cause of this thing that is making them so depressed. We get people with alcohol and the drug substance use. They start drinking and abusing drugs just because of a stress in their life.
That's true.
It could be due to anything. We would be going to that part discussing about what could be these changes in our life that are bringing this stress. But you end up finding people with hooked on alcohol, drugs. There's an increase in this in our society.
That's true.
Our youth and our adults and even our elderly people getting to use alcohol thinking that it is relieving their stress.
Yes, and it's not.
It's not.
Yes.
It's not. You've seen families that have ended up breaking because of alcohol and drug abuse.
Yes.
So it's a major fact in stress. And if I can remember, I've also witnessed isolation and
Yes, that's another
loneliness.
one.
When people are so stressed up, they tend to isolate themselves.
Yes. You turn off your phone.
Yeah, that's a good one. You keep calling and
No answer.
they don't answer. So that is a signal that someone is having stress. So those are some of the things, the symptoms and signs of stress.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me talk a little bit about why people drink because of stress.
Yeah.
I think the most thing that happens is it is fear of not having a solution.
Yes.
So somebody finds the easy way to escape the problem by maybe drinking or using drugs, or it is called fantasy escapism, and it is very common in this country because you find drugs and alcohol are very affordable, and instead of solving the problem amicably with the family or whoever is involved, people go out there and drink and they exacerbate the problem.
Yeah.
Then the stress is worse because you get sick, you get into fights, it becomes worse, and a lot of people end up even in jail.
Yes.
Because a small problem that started that could be solved, you make it bigger by trying to escape.
Yeah.
So if you have a small stressful situation, just take your time and think about it and try to find the easiest amicable way possible. It is possible to get out of these situations in peace without making it worse for yourself and for the people that care about you and your family. Yes.
Yeah, and talking about alcohol too and drugs, people forget that once they start drinking and getting hooked to these substances, it's not easy to come out.
That's true.
They are very addictive.
Yes. Yes.
Very addictive until they, even after going to therapy, some of them tend to go back to this alcohol.
Yes.
People try to get clean, but in the end of it, they still go back to alcohol.
That's
so
true.
the best way is do not start.
Don't you call for help.
Yeah.
If you think that you can't handle anything, there's always, you call a friend. I mean, when people start feeling embarrassed, you are human.
Yeah.
Why should you be ashamed of a problem? And everybody has them.
Yeah.
You know, just if you have friends who you are comfortable confiding in them, like you can't confide in everybody, but just a few people, talk to them and say, this is a problem, I think, what do you think? At least someone will come up with a solution.
Yes.
Another way is church members. If you go to church, if you have a church that you go, the spiritual counselors are there. It's free service. You can talk to a pastor, you can talk to a church elder. Then, you know, you pray about it, and sometimes it works. There are so many other ways of, you know, trying that. But once it gets to addiction, a lot of people even go until they die.
Yeah.
We've lost a lot of people through addiction, because once you start that path, coming back is not easy.
True.
So please, if you're stressed out, if you are in so much pain, don't even think of escaping. The pain will not kill you, but whatever you use to escape will kill you.
That's true.
And that's going to make everything worse. So just seek for help.
Yeah. So I think we've gone all down the list with all the symptoms.
Yes.
And viewers could send their suggestions too if you have other symptoms or things that we have left back or behind. You can email us and we can be talking about them in our next episode. So for now, we just want to see if we've identified these symptoms. What are some of the causes of stress? There could be things that are making us get into this stress. And some of them are unavoidable.
Yes.
And some of them we can avoid them. So we want to just discuss some of these causes, and I would mention a few as we go along and discuss. And one of the causes is a major life change.
Yes.
Major life changes in our life can contribute to stress.
Yes.
And this could be changes in marriage.
Yes.
It could be changes in your work situation. It could be any change.
Health.
With perfect health, all your years, and in 1 second you're down with a fracture, spinal injury, you name it. Major life changes are big issues. We have work and school related issues.
Yes.
Especially for us in the diaspora.
Yes.
Who have come here and are struggling to go back to school. It's a big change.
It is a big change.
It's a big stress. I'm sure you've seen some of your colleagues going through this.
Yes.
You can talk about it.
Yeah, we have, a lot of people who have, like they are going to school or they have family changes or all these things. They handle it very differently. But my biggest concern for the people that I've seen is that the major changes in a family, like maybe death, loss of a child or loss of a parent or loss of a family member, those are very difficult situations to deal with. They are very deep. They touch the most sensitive parts of our soul, and we need to be very careful, because sometimes when we sink into depression too much in that situation, coming back is a problem. So it is good to pray, it is good to seek for help, seek for professional help if it's too much. But if you take your time and reflect every day, and ask God, to show you the way to get out of the pain, I think you can be able to manage it. It is so hard to, the person who really understands the pain is the one wearing the shoes. We can never know how much you feel. And you can only feel your own pain. I can talk from my deepest experience based on my child's sickness. It hurts like hell. It's very, very painful. But once you are able to familiarize yourself with your situation and accept it and let God be the judge, let God be the lead of your life, some of these things we'll just look at them and say it is part of life, and we have to accept as we move on. Because when you become too stressed, you are affecting everybody else around you. And you ask yourself one of these things when you are so stressed. That person that has left physically, how would he feel if he realizes that this is how you are living your life? If you loved that person enough, if you really loved that person enough, you need to live your life to the fullest. Because that is the only way you can honor a memory of somebody that you really love. But sinking into depression and doing other things because he is not there, that is not respecting somebody who has died.
No.
The only way you can respect and honor the soul of your loved one is to live a dignified life.
True.
That way is much better, and that way you know that spiritually you are together all the time, and wherever you will rest in peace, knowing that you are also dealing with it in a respectful way.
Sure. Yeah, and talking about pain for losing a loved one, I personally could say that pain is very personal.
It is personal.
And we cannot experience one another's pain. So all we could do is provide help and be with them as they go through this pain. But they also need to get out of this pain. It has to come from within them, realizing that they need to get out.
Yes.
Realizing that this has happened and there is a life after this. There's a way that we could get out of this.
Yes.
Through the counseling you've talked about, through the community help, through the pastors and all this.
Mm-hmm.
But until one realizes the need to get out, it becomes impossible. So it's personal. This pain is personal.
It is personal.
You can never experience someone else's
Mm-hmm.
pain.
You can't.
Just as in death. Death is very personal.
It is. That's true.
You can never experience someone's death.
Yes.
You have to meet it in your own personal way
That
and
is-
experience it in your own personal way.
Yes.
So that is one of the changes that we have talked about, a major life change that affect us and bring us stress. And this is unavoidable.
It's unavoidable.
The things that just happen and are unavoidable, we cannot avoid them,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to deal with them.
And they happen every day of our lives.
Yes.
Yes.
Every day there's something happening. Every day there's an accident, there's a death, there's so many things happening. So we need to know how to deal with them.
Okay.
I want us to switch and just get to financial problems. Financial problems are also a big issue
Yes.
in bringing stress. And I just would like to maybe pick on financial problems in marriages.
Yes.
It's a big issue. You find marriages, couples staying together, but they don't know each other's finances. This brings a lot of stress.
Mm-hmm.
You are staying together, but nobody knows who is bringing what, who is paying the bills and all this.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that is a good way of doing it, or do we need to?
You know, if the easiest way to avoid stress is just to be truthful. I mean, if truth is they say truth is the easiest simplifier. Truth simplifies everything.
Yeah.
And if that is not possible, like for example, if you have a family member who is sick and needs your attention, there is a lot of financial resources from the county, from Scott County, from Hennepin County, from Dakota County. If you are not able to work for any reason, maybe you are taking care of a sick person, maybe you are sick yourself, every once in a while, if you go in there and talk to the social workers about your situation, they always have a way of helping you every once in a while. It's not, you don't have to sit and become depressed because there's no money to pay bills or there's no money for food. There's a lot of resources that can be able to come in and help. And when you talk about living with somebody and not knowing the finances, that is a very sensitive topic because sometimes it's just, you'd never know who is at fault and who is not at fault.
True.
But you'll realize that, from my own experience, you'll realize that the families that live very peacefully are very truthful to each other.
Yeah.
They are honest, there is no secret, they do everything together, and that simplifies everything. But when you have things to hide here and there, and then you know when you have things to hide, then there are lies here and there, then life becomes a complete mess.
Yeah.
Because you are trying to live outside your own life that God has given you. You don't have to step outside your life and live another life. You know, read your own book. You know, we wake up every day and read other people's books. People write books every day about this and about that. But read your own book by going inside yourself. Go within your heart and ask God, how do I live this life? If I don't like this person, you don't have to be with that person. You know, live a truthful life somewhere else. Go inside yourself and be truthful to yourself and your God. But living a life of a lie just brings more chaos in your life, and it causes unnecessary stress. That is why a lot of people are like, I'm so depressed.
Yes.
Some stress is caused by ourselves.
Yes.
Some stress is unavoidable.
Yeah.
So it depends with which kind of stress are you in.
Dealing with.
Yes.
Yeah. So in all, it comes up to openness, faithfulness,
Yes.
truthful, and
Honesty.
honesty in dealing with these financial problems and some of the stresses that we can avoid.
Yes.
Yes. So we, as viewers, are seeing this, we have to be open
Yes, we have to be open
and faithful and trustworthy
and
to each
trustworthy.
other.
Yes, and a lot of us want to be liked by so many people. You don't have to have a chain of people liking you for your life to be good.
No.
You have to love yourself enough to be comfortable with your own company.
Yes.
Love yourself and your family, your kids, that's enough. You don't have to look for a whole chain of people to be famous out there or to be loved for your life to be normal. Some people get stressed when they don't get that attention, and that is not necessary. You are creating stress for yourself because not everybody will like you. People choose friends according to how they need them, but the most important thing in life is love yourself, know who you are, and just love your family and love your God. That's enough.
Yeah.
Everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, we don't need to have 1,000 followers.
We don't need to
be
have
happy.
1,000. Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's me first.
It's me first,
Yes.
and my children, and everybody else is next.
Yeah, they say unless you are happy
Yeah.
yourself,
Mhm.
deep in, it's hard to get happiness.
It's hard to get happiness, and what happens is we try to let those people love us. People can only love you as much as they love themselves.
Yeah.
If they don't love themselves, why do you want them to love you? They are struggling too with themselves. So you have to recognize that the game is within you. Love you, and then the rest will just fall into place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so because of time, I will just mention some of the other causes that I had picked up that could cause this stress in our life here. And we have things like being too busy. We have children and family. It could also be a stress. We have negative self-talk. We have unrealistic expectations.
Mm-hmm.
We have divorce. We have retirement, job loss. We have imprisonment. We have injury,
Sickness, yes.
sickness, and so many other things that could cause this stress. Do you have anything to add on this?
I think you have exhausted the list. The only thing I would love to add is, the biggest solution to anything is solitude. When something happens, take your time to think, because your mind can do two things for you. One is it stores information and past experiences, and the second thing, it transmits knowledge and wisdom. So if you give yourself time when you are in a problem, when you are in a stressful situation, to allow your mind to work for you, because your mind can work for you or against you depending on how you use it. Most of the time when you work so fast, when these people are always in a hurry, you will never utilize your mind properly. But take your time, sit down and think. All these problems, whether it's a loss of a job, loss of finance, you will come up with a solution in a way that is not stressful. So
yeah, and now that you have talked about some of those solutions, I just want to remind our viewers, we are talking about stress, and you are watching KDRTV. And after talking about the symptoms and the causes, we are now going to how do we manage this stress, as she's talked about. But we want to go a little bit deep. How do we manage this stress? We've realized that some of these stresses are avoidable, some of these stresses are unavoidable. We would like to try and just go through some of the few things that could help us to avoid some of the unavoidable, the stress that we could avoid.
sure.
And starting with, I would just want to mention one thing, that in most of the stress that is avoidable, learning how to say no would help us.
That's true. That's the hardest thing.
Learning how to say no. As you say, it's the hardest.
It's the hardest because
But we end up saying yes,
Yes.
in most circumstances.
yeah.
I would give a good example with just getting hooked to alcohol or substance abuse, bad company,
Mhm.
peer pressure.
Mhm.
It's hard to avoid these friends. But if you learn how to say, no, I'm not going out with you tonight,
Yes,
you will not be in that bad company.
that's true.
You would not end up with a DUI after
Drinking.
drinking the whole night and driving home drunk.
Yes,
Thus not ending up in jail, as we talked about in prison.
yes,
And end up breaking our marriages. So divorce also has been avoided.
yes.
So some of the tips or some of the things that would help us, learning how to say no is a big thing. Do you agree with this?
I do agree with you.
Yeah.
And that is a skill that most of us, you know, when you want to please so many people and without hurting people, you become a yes person, and that yes becomes an autopilot. It's like it just comes without thinking.
Yeah.
Like everything is, oh, okay, yes, no problem, okay, yes, but that you agree, you have to think about your yes. Your yes has to come from your heart. And don't feel bad when you tell somebody no. Because if your no is coming from a good place, why would you feel bad?
No.
If you cannot be able to do something, just say no. And I've experienced this myself because I have had a lot of times when I really don't want to do something, but I don't know how to say no.
No, yeah.
And then I end up doing it in a way that is not coming out well.
Yeah.
And because the answer was a no, but you keep trying to do it anyway because you don't want the other person to be upset. But as we grow older, we get to learn that, you know what, it's okay to disappoint people and say no, rather than doing something and making it worse, you know. So
Yes. And another thing is avoiding people who stress you, avoiding things that stress you, avoiding environments that stress you. If we learn to avoid these environments, we will limit ourselves into getting stressed up and getting into this stressful event. The other thing is taking control of your environment.
yes.
Knowing your environment. A good example is something like you're watching the TV news and you don't want to hear about these political things that are making you angry, that are making you annoyed, frustrating you and getting anxious. As we've seen, anxiousness is one of the signs of stress. So if we could avoid, turn it off. It's easy. But if we don't and stay there and get so anxious and get so stressed up, it piles up and affects us.
That is very true.
Yeah, so avoiding those, knowing the environment and avoiding the stressful environments could also help us. And another thing is prioritizing our tasks.
That's true.
People in life don't know how to prioritize. Things that could be done later, they put them first.
That's true.
And this keeps us working fast and getting stressed.
Yes.
So those are some of the things that I think are very important. Do you have anything to add?
I think one other thing is, you know, wanting to look good, like to the outside world.
Yeah.
You have to put yourself first in everything that you do. If it's affecting you directly, I mean, it doesn't matter how it's perceived outside. If you know that if I say yes, it's gonna affect me in a bad way, you know, just learn to take care of you, because once you've said yes, the burden is on your side. So learning to say no is something that people think it's easy, but it is something that it's worth thinking about a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a lot of friends who come to you most of the time and they need this and they need that, because you recognize that friendships are different. There are those friends who are in your life and they're genuine and they will never leave you. They love you for who you are. And then there are those people who just come to your life to get something from you, and then when those benefits are not there, they run. And they do that to everybody. They are not permanently there.
Yes.
So then you become depressed, they are not calling you anymore, you don't find out why, because what you are giving them is no longer there. So they
Yes.
don't need you. So they've gone to the next victim. So you need to be smart enough to know the true friends. Surround yourself with the true, genuine friends who like you for who you are, not for what you have and for convenience. That is why a lot of us get, stressed out.
Choosing your friends
Yes,
right.
carefully.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
So I think if we can avoid this stressful situation, we could be better off.
Yes.
But there are some situations whereby you can't just avoid those stressors. So in such cases where we can't avoid our stressors, it would be better if we could just alter the way we do things.
Yes.
And that could also benefit us in solving these problems. And a good example is by expressing your feelings. if something is bothering you, if there's a problem in a relationship or in anything, express your feelings.
Communication.
Communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Put out your points.
Yes.
This would help solve the problem.
Yes.
Other than just keeping quiet and you get so stressed out.
Because the problem is brewing.
Yeah, it is.
In one way or another, it will come out.
It will.
In an argument,
Yes.
or in something else.
And we could also be willing to compromise.
Yes.
In some situations.
Mm-hmm.
Try and just bend low. At least to help the situation.
Yes.
A good example is in relationship problem.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't bend low, then the argument will keep going.
Yes.
And the end result will be not good.
Not good.
So compromising in some situations is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Not in every, but some situations
Yes.
whereby we see it's going to be helpful. And another way we could be more assertive.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't take the back seat
Yes.
in life.
Mm-hmm.
Try to be the front seat.
Yes.
Be assertive.
Mm-hmm.
That would be helpful too in
Yeah.
some of these problems that we can't avoid,
Mhm.
but we have to deal with them. Then a good one is managing our time.
Time management.
Very important.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of our stresses are brought out with poor time management,
That's true.
especially with the school and work issues.
Schedule.
Yeah, we have to manage our time right.
Mm-hmm.
And these are some of the ways that we could use when we can't avoid the stresses,
Yes.
and just see how to deal with the stress. Have anything to add?
Oh no, praying,
Yeah.
prayer is
Prayer is
another.
good.
Prayer and solitude, you need to take time to reflect. Like every day when the day ends, especially for mothers, we do that a lot. I don't know about you, but a lot of mothers that I know, when all the kids are in bed, everybody has eaten, and you have that little small time to reflect. It really does help. It's like whether you're praying, whether you're just quiet, you have that time to just be you and digest the events of the day before you get to the next day tomorrow, so that they don't pile up. The things of today, if there's anything you didn't do right and you think you want to fix, you just arrange your mind that way so that you don't get stressed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that arranging of things is also good. And we could also reframe the problem. If you reframe the problem in a way that you're looking at it in a different, positive way.
Yes.
For example, you are driving to work and you are late, and the stoplights keep you getting even more late.
No, the train.
Or the train, and there you get so frustrated and you're cursing. You could just reframe it and look back and relax. That's the time you could have your own time. Listen to music or just watch the birds, or other than getting frustrated, because the frustration will not make you get there fast. It will just increase your anxiety and increase your stress.
Yeah.
And another way we could also look at a big picture. The overall picture. How would it be 1 month from now? Would you look at it in the same way? How would it be 1 week from now? So if we look at it in a bigger picture, I think we would go back and pause and think differently. Because 1 month or 1 year from now, you wouldn't be the same way.
That's true.
And you wouldn't have made the same decisions.
That's true.
So those are some of the things. And I also have one that adjusting your standards. Like there's no perfect world. There's nobody who is perfect. So we could adjust ourselves. There's no perfection in this world.
And there's no standard. Standard is a state of mind. Those people who think that if you really think you're in a class, ask yourself, is that class, it is only solidified by your mind.
Yeah.
But the truth is, all people are the same.
Yeah, that's true.
We all suffer the same sickness, we all have problems, we all become depressed. So when you start classifying people, that is just a state of mind where it is not even healthy to think like that. You have to bring yourself down to a level of humanity. You have to be able to see yourself in everybody, knowing that this is a human being like me. It doesn't matter whether he's whoever he is. I mean, we are breathing the same oxygen that the president is breathing. So if we start classifying people because they have this and they have that, then you become stressed, comparing yourself to other people. You know, just appreciate who you are, appreciate who God has made you to be, appreciate life, and that will reduce your stress.
Yeah, and when you compare yourself to other people, do you know what stress they are going through?
Yeah.
It might be much than yours.
Yes, that is
It's
true.
just that you don't know. They've not opened up to tell you how much stress
that
they
is
are going through.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Do not compare yourself.
Yes.
So make reasonable standards
And adjustments.
and adjustment in life.
Yeah.
Adjust your attitude.
That's true.
Do you think you would be well with the negative talk? No. It would just hurt you more. So be positive, adjust your standards. And I think finally I would say do not try to control the uncontrollable. There are things in life that we can't just control, especially the unavoidable stressors, the death of a loved one. Things that we can't control in life, they have brought stress to our life. We can't control them. Accept them and know how to deal with them. That would be a good way to handle it.
That's a good way, but that's a very difficult.
It is difficult, but in the wrong run, it's
yes.
going to be helpful.
Yeah, you do it step by step.
Yeah, step by step.
Step by step.
Yeah.
And you know, also, I'd like to add that, you know, living life to a point where you recognize that as human beings, truly, there's nothing we can control.
Yeah.
The most we can do as human beings is effort. We just put a little effort here and a little effort there. But the truth is, who works behind the scenes? It's God.
It's God.
There is power, there is energy from the universe that organizes and reorganizes everything. Because sometimes people show up in your life that you never even know will show up. So how did that happen? So sometimes we have to learn that, you know what, God, as long as I am praying and you know my life, you know the right thing for me, you just enjoy the ride and just do the right thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we could also look at some of these challenges as a way of personal growth.
Yes.
Look at them as opportunities
To grow
and
do better.
and to be better.
Yes.
And also we can share our feelings with trusted friends. It could also help.
Mhm.
Make sure it's a trusted friend,
Yes.
not a friend that will be talking about it
Yes.
behind your back. And finally, I would say we could learn to forgive. Learn to forgive. We live in a very imperfect world. Nothing is perfect. Nobody is perfect.
Nobody is perfect. And I wanted to touch on what you said about friends who talk about you.
Yes.
The reason why somebody is talking behind your back is because they fear to be in front of you and tell you the truth.
Yes.
The thing is, if you care so much about someone, please face the person and tell them the truth. But going around and doing that is it's low self-esteem. So, and it shouldn't bother anybody, because as long as you tell God, I am doing the right thing, and if I'm wrong, God forgive me.
Yes.
You are good. You don't have to be stressed because somebody else said something, you know. That is their portion. Let it be theirs, because you can never control anybody except yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, people will always do things out there, but just stay on your lane.
And that's one thing that we have to emphasize more. You can only control your behavior.
Yourself.
You cannot change someone else.
Yes.
It's only you that you can control.
That's true.
How you react to life, how you react to these stresses.
Yes.
Yes. So in the end, we should be ending soon, and I would just want to say, let go of these angers, free yourself from these resentments, be positive, and you will be able to deal with these stresses.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's also a lot of resources. There's anger management classes. There's a lot of resources online and even in the county for if people have too much anger. Sometimes can be given free classes
Yeah.
to help you deal with issues. So there's help everywhere. There's abundance of help and resources for everything that you need.
Yes.
So do not allow depression to take you down a dark path.
No.
There's hope.
There's hope. Yeah.
Yes.
There's hope. That's a good way of ending.
Yeah.
So we are happy today, this Mother's Day, to have discussed this topic. I hope you are going to benefit from this. And this is KDRTV. You are watching us, and on this Mother's Day, we just want to say Happy Mother's Day and
thank you very much. And we need your feedback.
Yes, please email us on KDRTV. Send us your feedback.
We want
Send
to
us
hear
your
from you.
questions. We want to hear from you. We want to keep this conversation going.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.